There are 21 different bosses in Castle Crashers, all with their own unique abilities and traits, and in this video I'm going to be telling you which one is the hardest to fight and why. And by the way, this list won't include mini bosses, so yeah. Let's get started. But before I get into the top 3 hardest bosses, I'm just gonna give a quick honorable mention to the Troll Mother. Although this boss is a piece of cake on normal mode, once you get to insane mode, this could very likely be your first death. And the reason why is because the Troll Mother in insane mode just summons hordes of enemies that do an insane amount of damage. Not only that, she has a ton of health. And the only reason the Troll Mother isn't higher on the list is because she is arguably one of the easiest bosses in normal mode. Alright, now it's time to get into the top 3 hardest bosses. Coming in at 3rd place is the Groom. For being such an early boss fight, the Groom has to be one of the hardest bosses in the game. He has so many different attacks, the most annoying one being the spin attack, and after he's done attacking you, he will begin playing the piano which launches bombs from the sky. Even though this phase isn't nearly as annoying as some of his other attacks, it just makes this boss fight way longer than it needs to be, and that's why the Groom is in the 3rd place. Coming in 2nd for the hardest boss in Castle Crashers is the Corn Boss. I feel like the Corn Boss is a pretty widely hated boss fight, as this one takes a long time. In insane mode, this one took me sometimes 30 minutes just to complete. The main reason for this is right after the corn attacks you, he goes underground and just stays there for a little bit and pops up right underneath your feet. This makes the Corn Boss have very short attack windows, and after he comes up from the ground and you try to attack him, he will likely just hit you with one of the peels. This makes the Corn Boss an extremely tedious task to complete. And also just look at his face. I mean, come on. But before I tell you guys what the hardest boss in Castle Crashers is, if you just take 2 seconds to click that subscribe button, it'd mean a lot to me since we're almost at 7,000 subs. But anyways, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the hardest boss in Castle Crashers is the Necromancer. The Necromancer itself isn't actually a very hard boss, but the waves of enemies the Necromancer sends before you fight it makes the boss fight way harder. The hardest phase of this boss fight is probably the 2nd phase, because after killing all the smaller enemies, the Necromancer summons a ton more enemies and a bunch of beefy ones as well. This makes it extremely hard to juggle as all these enemies are different weights and sizes, and the beefies will likely just grab you out of the air and throw you. And if you're on this level in insane mode, then I'm sorry, I've been there too. And considering all of this, I feel like the Necromancer should be the final boss fight of the game, as the Evil Wizard is just not nearly as hard. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.